Good afternoon, Counsel, Ms. Elkins.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have an agreed-upon disposition for your consideration.
All right.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Green. And Commonwealth, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Green, I have in front of me a tender of plea form that indicates that there's an agreement between your lawyer and the Commonwealth with respect to the disposition of your case. I see on the back of this form your signature. Is this your signature, madam?
Yes, it is.
Now, did you have the chance to review this with your attorney and understand the information before you signed?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm not bound by this agreed recommendation. But if I exceed the recommendation, if I go beyond it, I will give you the opportunity to withdraw your plea and go forward on this case. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Very good. How old are you, madam?
39.
And how far have you gone in school?
I did complete high school. I went to college for a short time, my freshman year, but I ended up dropping out.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours?
Absolutely not. No.
All right, very good. Have you ever been treated for mental illness or emotional condition?
Not that I can remember, no.
All right, very good. Ms. Green, when defendants make pleas, important rights are given up. Now, the rights are listed here on the form that you've indicated you reviewed and understood. But I'm going to go over these rights here with you again. The right to,
Okay.
very good. The right to trial by judge or jury.
Yes, I realize I could have that.
The right to be presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, I know.
The right to present evidence on your own behalf.
Yes, I know.
The right to cross-examine those who might testify against you.
Yes, I realize that. I know.
The right to remain silent so that nothing you say is used against you.
Yes, I know.
And finally, the right to file motions if these motions are relevant to your case, and appeal any motions that might be heard by the court but then denied.
Yes, I understand that.
Very good. All these rights would be gone today if I accept your plea. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyer about the facts, the charge, the essential elements of the charge, the maximum penalty you could receive, any potential defenses you might have, and whether or not there are any immigration consequences here for you as a result of your plea?
Yes,
Very good. Counsel, have you had enough time?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Green, I want you to listen I want you to pay attention very carefully. The Commonwealth is now going to present its facts that it would allege against you to both me and you and your attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. This report was made by Officer Jean Murray, saying that on February 16th, 2017, at approximately 9 p.m., the officer was traveling westbound on Interstate 90, the Mass Pike, near the intersection of Interstate 91. The officer was in a fully marked state cruiser. The officer was preparing to exit 90 onto 91 North when the officer observed a yellow Volkswagen convertible in the officer's rearview mirror, traveling at a high speed, approaching the exit ramp for 91 North. At that point, the officer noticed that the vehicle was traveling with no headlights on, and the front right parking light was not working correctly. Also noticed that the right tires of the car traveled over the solid white fog line on the exit ramp by approximately 2 feet over the line. The officer followed the vehicle onto the exit ramp. At that point, the vehicle made a brief stop a few hundred feet from the exit ramp and then veered right onto the I-91 North exit ramp without using a turn signal. The vehicle then veered right as if to get onto Route 5 South, but immediately turned left and veered left across the 2 lanes without using a turn signal and proceeded to follow the ramp towards Holyoke and I-91 North. A stop was initiated, and eventually the vehicle pulled over the curb and onto the left-hand grassy median, slowly parking, and then at a 45-degree angle to the road. It took 4 tries of braking and lurching before the vehicle's engine was finally shut off, Your Honor. Upon approach, the officer noticed that the driver had red, bloodshot, and watery eyes, and the officer noticed that the driver was hearing impaired. The officer asked if the defendant could read lips, and the defendant indicated that she could, and there were no problems communicating. She was identified as Sandra Green by Massachusetts driver's license number 1234567. The officer asked her how much alcohol she had consumed, and she held up 2 fingers and made some other gestures, and when she was gesturing, she knocked her glasses off her face. The officer handed them back to her, but it took 3 tries for her to get them back onto her face properly. At that point, the officer administered several field sobriety tests. The defendant stumbled over several plantings that were landscaped into the median, and the officer, upon interacting with her, smelled an odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from her breath. The officer administered the walk and turn, at which point the defendant lost her balance in the walking stage, walked 10 steps, raised left arm over 6 inches away from body to assist with balance on one occasion, walked 10 steps but counted 9, raised left arm over 6 inches away from body to assist with balance on 2 occasions, lost balance and did not turn as instructed. In the one-leg stand, the defendant started before being told to begin. She put her foot down on counts 1006 and 1009. As she was counting, she skipped 1017, going right from 16 to 18, and used arm for balance and was swaying while balancing. So based on that information, I formed the opinion that the defendant, Ms. Sandra Green, was driving under the influence, Your Honor.
All right. And Commonwealth, I presume that I-90 and 91 North are public ways in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
They are, Your Honor.
All right. Very good. And I also presume that the individual Sandra Green encountered by the trooper that evening is identified as the defendant here today.
She is, Your Honor. She's right there at the defense table.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Ms. Green, did you hear or were you able to be presented with the facts?
Yes.
Do you agree that what I just heard?
So you're-
Absolutely.
You could please sign yes or no.
Yes.
And do you agree that what was presented to me was what happened that evening?
Yes.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to admit to these facts?
No.
Are you admitting then because the facts I've heard are true, and that is the only reason for your plea?
Yes.
And are you doing this here today, madam, freely, willingly, and voluntarily?
Yes. That's
All
right.
Very good. Now, you don't have to respond to any of this, but I have to advise you. If you are not a citizen of these United States, the acceptance by the court of your plea here today may have the consequence of deportation, exclusion from admission, or denial of naturalization. That's pursuant to our laws. In addition, if the offense you are pleading here to today is one that under federal law presumptively mandates your removal from these United States, and if the federal government decides one day to seek such removal, it's practically inevitable then. This disposition will result in deportation, exclusion from admission, or denial of naturalization. Again, that is all pursuant to our laws.
And Your Honor, could the interpreting team just have just a moment to
You may.
finish interpretation? Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Green, have you had enough time to discuss this case, your rights, any potential defenses you might have, and all possible consequences of your plea here today with your lawyer?
Yes.
Do you believe your lawyer has acted in your best interest?
Yes.
Have you been confused, madam, by any of my questions?
No, not at all.
Very good. The court then will make the following findings. Sufficient facts. The defendant understands the nature of the allegations against her, and her plea here today is made freely, willingly, and voluntarily, with full knowledge of the consequences, also after she has been in receipt of adequate and effective assistance. Having made the findings, the court will accept the defendant's plea. Now, counsel, Commonwealth, I understand this is an agreed recommendation, is that correct?
It is, Your Honor.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Either side wish to be heard on the recommendation?
No, Your Honor. No, thank you.
Not unless you're inclined to disagree.
I will accept the recommendation. Thank you. I see that this is Ms. Green's first offense. She is entitled statutorily to the 24D disposition. That disposition is as follows. You will have a 1-year period of probation on a continuation without a finding, Ms. Green. During that 1 year, you must attend.
Your Honor, I think the
Oh.
interpreter needs a moment. Thank
Oh,
you.
sure. My apologies.
Could the interpreters just have a moment to confer?
Oh, you may,
Thank you.
certainly.
Your Honor, for the proceedings interpreters team, we're not familiar with the Massachusetts specific data finding.
Ah.
If you wouldn't mind, just for the interpreters who are unfamiliar with that, to just unpack that a little.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Certainly. So, Ms. Green, the continuation without a finding is an admission to sufficient facts. It is not a plea of guilty. But you do admit that there are sufficient facts that you could be found guilty. But you ask the court to continue your matter for 1 year without a finding of guilt. You are successful in completing the terms and conditions of your probation. The matter will read dismissed on your record. Do you understand?
Yes, okay.
Do you have any questions for me, or do you need to speak with your lawyer any further?
Am I losing my license, Your Honor? I mean, and if I am, for how long?
There is a 45-day loss of license as a result of the 24D disposition. That is separate and distinct. Any other loss of license that may have occurred as a result of the investigation and/or arrest on the operating under the influence.
And for the interpreting team, we would just like to clarify that 45 days, is it just those solely 45 days, or is it possible that she is losing her license for more than that?
45
Just
day
45
loss.
days, thank you.
Your Honor, I just would inform the court, I think this happened with the table interpreters, that she just said aloud, basically, that she's just worried about being able to get back and forth from work. I just wanted to make sure the record reflected that's something she expressed out loud, so to speak. I think we can continue.
All right. So, Ms. Green, there are some other statutory fines, fees, and costs that come with this disposition. I presume you've discussed those with your lawyer. You also have to attend and complete the driver alcohol education program. I'll ask you to speak with probation before you leave today about scheduling that particular class and your participation in it. Finally, madam, I am going to ask you, when you encountered the police that evening, where did you have your last drink? Was it at a private residence or a public establishment?
I was at a friend's house in Munson, Massachusetts. There was a gathering there, and we were there together, and that's where I had my last drink.
All right, very good. The record will reflect that. Okay, Ms. Green, I noticed that you are a little distraught about the plea, and I can understand and respect that. I'm hopeful that you can put the matter behind you, that this experience will not define you, but will simply refine you. Okay? And I wish you the best of luck, madam. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Very welcome.